Good morning everybody, Susan here with Pumpkin Hill Stampers. I have a Stampin' Show and Tell for you today. We're going to make this lovely card, and I am playing in the Freshly Made Sketches challenge that was just posted this week for the start of January. So this will follow that sketch, and I will post the link below in the information, and I will put the sketch on the PDF tutorial for next week. So we're going to be playing with the Life is Grand stamp set. This is new in the spring occasions, and I just loved all these large words, as you can see, and they've got great secondary sentiments, so that's going to be a fun stamp set to use. As you can see, we're just using paper, ink, and stamps today. We're going to use the Big Shot to trim out our sentiment rectangle there with the new stitched rectangle stitched framelits. Right? Look at all those sizes. So I used the biggest one here to do that square. We're going to use our triple banner punch to make these cute little flags to stick out the sides, the little paper banners there. And we're going to use pearls, our basic pearls, along with our blend pens in the color that matches our Highland Heather. We're going to marker those up to shade them in, and then we're going to use them as an embellishment. So let's go ahead and get started putting this card together, okay? So to start, let's do some layering and some stamping. So lots of pieces here. So I've got my envelope. We have our Highland Heather card base. Now this is 4 1/4 by 11. I scored it at 5 1/2, and I'm going to use it this way, so it's going to open like this, okay? So there's my card base. I have a mounting piece of basic black, and then here is a piece from our Sale-a-bration designer series paper, Botanical Butterfly, and we're just going to use our snail and layer up that piece there. So that's nice simple layering, right? Remember, all the dimensions will be on the tutorials, so don't worry about, what size is that, how does that work. It'll all be taken care of, don't worry. This is going to be our inside piece in just a minute. That's going to be our mount here. So let's go ahead and do our expression. So like I said, I used a piece of Whisper White. I've run that through the Big Shot with the die, and then you just pop that out. Get all that fun stitching around the edges. Okay. Set that aside. Let's go ahead and stamp our expression. So I'm using Memento because maybe you don't see it on the video so well, but I've colored in with the blend in the wish word in the stamp. You see how it's kind of got that lighter lettering? It leaves kind of a white space in there, and I thought, well, you know what? I'm going to fill that in with color. So I've already mounted this stamp on my block. Okay, these are the new cling stamps where we have the label that don't move, don't wiggle, and I can see through my block, and I know where my stamp is because I can see it now, so I'm just going to position that on my die cut label, stamp that down. Nice firm impression. Pull that up, okay, so now I see how the letters are a little bit washed out on the back side, so I'm going to go back in with my blend after that dries, and I'm going to add color to that for our label. So that's going to be our label like that. Now, like I said, these are new cling stamps, so while that dries, I'm going to give you another quick presentation about how to mount the labels. So when you open up your stamps, you've got your rubber stamps on one side, you've got your labels on the other. Okay, now the labels are sticky on both sides. Okay, so this is important, you get the correct side of the label to the correct stamp. So I'm going to pull off the birthday greeting, which is this one here. Okay, so there's my rubber mount stamp. And I'm going to pull the backer off of that stamp. Okay, now here's my label that corresponds with that. So on this side, the side that's perforated, I'm going to peel off these two halves of my stamp. Okay, this is the surface that's going onto your rubber backer. So it's all cut to shape, right? So I'm just going to place this over my label, kind of like a puzzle piece. Just set it down inside so that label lines up with the rubber stamp. Right, see how that works? Just like a puzzle piece, you're going to put it right on top. Then give it a little twist and peel that off. Now look, I've got the label where I can see, and I've got my rubber stamp, and this is sticky too. Okay, so that's the upgrade. Now, this is the way I line it up on my block. So I use my grid sheet, right? Here's my square edge, and then I put my block over the top. So that's square 2, and I'm ready to stamp. So let's stamp our inside. So here are my inside pieces. Now I've got both because I wanted to show you how to mount that, so I got to do my one for the first card as well. So let's bring our memento back in. Let's ink this up. Alright, so I've got this square on my grid sheet. I've got this in my hand, and I'm going to stamp that down. Voila. There's one. Here is the second one I need. Perfect. Alright, so those are my centers. I'll put that in just a minute. Oh, so I'll put my memento away so I don't get black ink where I don't want it. Now let me go back to this one for our sentiment. Remember I said I was going to color that with the blends? So, memento ink for the blend markers. Okay, so I'm going to pick up my dark Highland Heather, and very lightly I'm going to shade in right over that black ink where the lettering is kind of opened up. And I'm just going to add a shadow of the Highland Heather into that space. So just a hint of color to coordinate with our card base. Okay, nice easy way to add just a little color. So now this is going to get snelled to our mount for that. Okay, I've got that trimmed pretty close. Remember, measurements will be on the tutorial, don't worry about it. Alright, so there's our beginner pieces. Now, I decided it needed just a little more pizzazz, right? So, I have a basic black and a lemon lime twist 1/2 inch piece of scrap here. And I'm just going to use my punch upside down. Now the triple banner punch is designed to cut 1 inch, 1.5 inch, and 2 inch pieces of cardstock, right, to make the banners. But if you want it smaller and you're careful and you've got steady hands, you can slide your paper in, use it upside down, and you can eyeball the center of that V with the edges of your DSP and get yourself a banner. So I'm going to do that again with the black. Now I realize this isn't maybe for everybody because you really do have to have steady hands, and there's days I don't have steady hands, and you've got to have good eyesight so you can eyeball that in the center, but it is a way to use that with smaller or off-size pieces that don't exactly fit in the grids. Alright, so now I've got flags, okay? And my flags don't have to be this long because I'm just going to tuck them behind my banner. So I'm just going to shorten these a little bit. Alright, let's put those on next. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip this over, right? It's going on this side. I'm going to add some snail, right? Now, I have my black one on top of my green one, which means I need to put the black one on first. So I'm going to put this down like that, and about that far. And see, I'm using my grid paper. This is a straight edge, this is lined up on a straight edge, and I'm just going to tack it like that. Then I bring this one in, and I just have it out a little bit farther. Same idea, use your grid sheet. Right, here's a straight edge, that's a straight edge, And then, let's see, more overlap I think, there. And tack that. Okay, so see how I use that grid paper to line those up. Now we're going to pop this up with dimensionals. And we're also going to pop up this layer with dimensionals. Alright, let me peel all these off. So let's put the DSP layer on first. Okay, just like this. Then we're going to put our expression on. Just like this. Now I did opt to have this slide over this side a little bit so it stands off a little bit. So there we go. Now pearls, right? So you can see I've already colored 3, but let me show you how I do it. So I take my blend and I've got my pearl sheet and I just kind of paint them. Just kind of go around them, right? Just like that. Just, whoops, that one's loose. And I just put those on. Now you're going to want that ink to dry a little bit before you mess with it with your fingers or you use your pick tool. Okay, so I've done these before. So, I'm just going to peel these off, put them down, just kind of making a triangle over here. Just a little surprise embellishment, right? There we go. There's that. And let's put in our center sections. So, a little snail in the back. Put this in on the inside. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do that for the first one as well. Isn't that nice the way the card base will frame the inside as well? Alright, so there is our card. Now, if you're going to hand stamp a card, you got to hand stamp your envelope too, right? But this set doesn't really have maybe something I want to put on the envelope. So I'm going to bring in another new set. This is called Amazing Life, and it's a photopolymer set, so you can see through all the way, okay, which I love. But this set has some cute, smaller embellishment stamps, along with great sentiments, but today we're going to use some of the smaller embellishment stamps. So what I thought I would do is take these two and build a corner stamp. So this is this little flare here, and here's the little flower. I'll bring my ink back in. So let's see, I'll do the flower first. Alright, so here's my envelope. So there's my little corner, which is fine all by itself. You could leave it like that, but I'm going to build this guy over the top. Now see how I stamped the flower first, and now I can build this guy right over the top of him. Let's see. About there. And see how I've got that extra bit. Now, blends bleed through. You probably saw that on the back of this when I stamped and colored it. But if you have some scrap paper, see, I'm just going to use the back of this. If you open up your envelope and slide kind of a mat in there, you could also add color with your blend to your envelope, and by putting that mat inside, it's not going to bleed all the way through to the back of your envelope. Make sure you do this before you put your card in as well. But why not add a little color to your envelope too? So there you have it. There is our card for today. Now, something I'm learning with these new cling stamps, right? They're new for me, they're new for you, is how we take them off the blocks. All right, our old stamps and the photopolymers, they peel super easy, right? Here's the photopolymer. I just kind of get under the lip, I peel it off, I'm good to go. But the cling stamp, because that label is so super sticky, you have to be careful. Careful. Can I stress that enough? Careful, 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 careful. I almost ripped the stamp off my block when I tried to do it earlier, so I'm showing it to you now. So they say you want where that label is attached to your block, way down at the label, you want to get under the edge of your label. Okay, under the edge, not just in the rubber, not just in the mounting rubber, under the label, okay, under the label. Then peel it off gently, gently. See how that worked? So you want to be careful not to scar your rubber, right, or rip your label, and you also don't want to separate them. So be careful. They're great. They don't shift. They don't, you know, move around. They don't fall off, but they don't fall off. So be careful when you remove the stamp. All right. So those are my tips for today. So here you go. Here is today's show and tell. Like I said, I did play in the Freshly Made Sketches challenge, so that'll be posted on my blog, and I'll have the information below. You can go check out everybody else's creations. And to all my busy bee stamping sisters out there in Oregon and about, this is going to be my January swap card to all of you, so I hope you're enjoying the swaps that we do at our team meetings. And for all of you who need the instructions, subscribe to the Show and Tell News. PDF and the tutorial video will be on next Tuesday's edition, and by subscribing to that, you've got all my past and future tutorials to come. So join me, have some fun, and I'm really excited to start the new year. Thanks everybody. Go do some fun stamping today, and I'll see you next week. All right, bye-bye.